Oh, and it's saying low network connection. Let's see if it's gonna work. There we go. I think it's better now. Okay, so I think I'll look over here. Okay, so I have this sideways because we're going to be doing a Kundalini practice for the root chakra. I can't help it; I have to look over to the side. And we're gonna be on the floor, and a lot of moving kind of back and forth. So I wanted to have the view so you could really see all of it. If I have it upright, it's a little bit harder to see all of it. So here we are. I'm really curious how your practice was from yesterday. If you got to it, I hope you did. The actual practice was about like 10 minutes, so I hope that worked for you. And I wanted to dive a little bit more into the root chakra and explore just a little bit more before we go into our practice. So as we move through the root chakra, and I've got our red pillows back here, I'm over here this morning because it's a little misty out. It's Thursday. It's a little misty. It's very different than Palm Springs that we just came back from. It feels like Seattle right now. So if you're in Southern California, you might be wondering too, like what's going on right now. So a little misty, a little bit gray. We've got a little pocket gopher. So now that I've been getting up earlier in the morning, I'm beginning to see our little pocket gopher, which is really cute, but also eating our plants. So we're trying to find a really organic way to kind of move him along. So basically we are here, we are working on the root chakra, and I'm curious like what's come up for you since we've been talking about it around like a mantra, something that you've been saying. Also, like if you are working with something, if you have a business or a project you're working with, how focusing in on the root might be helping with that. So for me, you know, when I'm working in a new venture or with this work, which is bringing it online, there's a lot of trust. There's a lot of trust around doing it as it's new. And so a great mantra for me right now is I trust. It's really simple. I trust. Also, I belong. Like I belong in this space. Because as we talked about yesterday, the root chakra is very tribal. Very tribal in the sense of like in our past, we basically really needed to know that we belonged. Like if you were part of a tribe and you didn't belong or you were getting rejected, like that's like a life or death situation. Not so much now. Like if you have a friend group or people that you work with, I think it brings up that same feeling of like if you're part of a work group or a part of a friend group and for some reason suddenly you're kind of on the outs, it feels like life or death. Like if you don't belong, you know, it's devastating. It's uncomfortable. It's like, where do I fit in the world? And so it just doesn't, it's not something that anyone wants to experience. And so we can self-protect and kind of go back into our shell, go back into like our turtle shell. So if that's something that you are working on, like putting something out into the world or doing something new in your business or with friendships or whatever it might be, it's something to maybe check in with. Like sometimes we'll put ourselves out there and then we'll retreat. It's like that turtle. You put yourself out there and then retreat. So even within your own relationship, even if you have a spouse or a boyfriend or a girlfriend and you are finding yourself doing that, it might be like a protective thing, like you want to maintain that relationship. And so if you're trying to shift something within that relationship, you can kind of just notice if that comes up. You can also notice if that comes up and what you're feeling through your legs. You can notice what you're feeling through the lower part of your body. How is that energy flowing? You can also feel it maybe in other parts of your body. Like, do you feel any tightness in your belly? Do you feel any restriction with your breath? Like, how is that all flowing? How is that all working? So that's something just to kind of tap into, to kind of bring to mind, and to kind of play with as you move forward with those things. And I'd love for you to drop some comments. I've been really appreciating the comments that those of you have been giving me, and also the personal feedback one-to-one. So I really appreciate that, and seeing what your mantras are and how this is working for you. So today we're also working on the root. Tomorrow we are working towards the sacral plexus. So I love this one because this is really this place of like creative space, and it's our sexuality. If you're talking about anything having to do with money, this chakra is also like highly involved, because when we have flow, which is the next chakra we're doing tomorrow, and we have that flow. That's where energy can flow. That's where our creativity flows. That's where like who we are really uniquely and the gifts we're bringing into the world flows. So I just kind of want to bring that to mind. And we are now going to move through a Kundalini yoga practice, which is very different than our traditional yoga that we see, like our Hatha or Vinyasa. But I really encourage you to take your time to try it, to stick with it. So as we move through this Kundalini practice, you are going to experience it for about, Kundalini is a long practice. Like we hold things for a kind of a longer time than traditional yoga to really let the energy move through. So I'm going to have us do it for about a minute each, which might feel like a long time. Some of these are indicated to do for a full 5 minutes. So tap into that, see how that feels. If you want to do something for a full 5 minutes, you can pause it once you see what we're doing and then stick with it. Like have a watch nearby, have a timer nearby, and then you can, when you get to 5 minutes, turn that off. Or maybe use this over and build up to a full 5 minutes. So I encourage you as you do these practices to do them more than once, like to try them multiple times and just really see how the energy is moving through you. So I am going to put you down over here so we have a little room to see this since we're down low. Let's see, I think that's a good, yeah, that's a good amount of space. Hopefully the sound is still good for you here. I am gonna grab a sip of coffee since it is early. And in terms of starting a new ritual, I've been really grateful to this group and this program to help me start this new ritual of just being up before most of the family is up. My daughter woke up when she heard me. It's the one thing about getting up early is like who might hear me. So, okay, we are going to start with this first chakra, and what I invite you to do as we start is to tap into your mantra, to tap into a word or feeling. You can say Lam, you can say I trust. Just tap into something that will work for you as we get started with this. You can also modify if something doesn't feel comfortable. You can be sitting on a chair, so you can kind of work up to the full practice. You also, with this one, want to protect your low back, so I'll give some modifications for that as well. Okay, so move this stuff over. Take a moment to take a deep breath, inhaling up through the crown of your head, exhaling, releasing back down your spine, and again. And for this first one, you're going to sit upright with your legs out and bring your left leg to sit on it. So you're actually going to bring your left leg and bring it to like your perineum, to like the base of your spine. Well, no, rather in between your anus and your vagina. So that space right in there. And you're going to have your palms down right by your hips. If they don't reach, you can put some pillows under them or yoga blocks if you have them. And you are going to breathe in deeply, and as you breathe out, lean forwards. Breathe in as you come back up, breathe out as you lean forwards. So as I mentioned, if this feels like a lot or a little uncomfortable, you can maybe put a pillow underneath. I'm actually going to do that because I am not on like a really soft surface. So I'm going to put this under my ankle so you can adjust. This is your practice. You can adjust it. Other one goes out. The idea is to do this for a full 2 minutes. I'm going to take a look here. I'm going to make sure we do it at least for a full 1 minute. So inhale forward. If you want to, as you do this, you can also have your mantra like I trust. I trust. You are retraining your brain. You are bringing to mind something really important. So I really encourage you to do that. We are sending our energy downward, clearing energy through your spine. You can draw your belly in to feel that support as you lean forward. Saying to yourself your mantra, drawing your belly in, keeping your neck aligned with the rest of your spine. Noticing this might feel very different, it might feel a little unusual. It's Kundalini. Moving energy through the body. It's going to feel really good. So we know where we're headed. We're going to take another 3, 2, and 1. If you want to continue for another minute, you can. Take a breath. So our second one is to do the same thing with both feet outstretched. So we've got 2 minutes here. You can keep the same mantra or pick a different one if you'd like. So we inhale out, exhaling forward. Bend your knees if you need to, if you're feeling tight. It doesn't really matter how far forward you go. You can let the spine round a little bit. You have your hands by your sides for support. Saying your mantra. You can breathe out through your mouth. This is a very ancient practice coming from India, so we have a lot of background here. And as you'll notice, there's a lot more scientific evidence and reasoning around how these things work. So we can get more into that later. We're going to practice this here. Another 3, 2, and 1. If you want to continue it, go ahead and pause it and we can continue it. So take a breath. So you can notice too what's coming up. If anything's coming up, I'm getting a little warm doing it. So this is a very vigorous practice. You might also notice you can get very fit doing these. It seems very repetitive, but there's a lot of sort of cardio happening as you're practicing these too. So our next one, you're going to lie on your back and breathe in deeply. As you breathe out, you're going to sit upright and lean forwards, grabbing your toes. Breathe in and lie down again. So sit up, breathing out. Grab your toes, breathe in, and lie down. Mentally vibrate Sat Nam. Sat Nam means I am truth. I am truth. I am truth. So you're going to repeat that as you do this again for 2 minutes. You got a cute little bird back there. So I am probably going to actually have my knees up for this one, as I've got some low back stuff to work on a little bit. So that's going to be me, but you can have your legs outstretched, coming on up fully, and then leaning back fully. If you can't lean back fully, just be up here. Sat, exhale, Nam. Or come on back, legs outstretched, or leaning the whole way back. Maybe your legs are fully out. So we're going to come on up. Sat, Nam. Sat, Nam. This is as fast or as slow as is right for you. You can also have a pillow back here for your head to lean on as you come back, or lay it fully down on your mat. So now it feels okay to have the legs outstretched. You're working your core. Repeating Sat and Nam. We'll take another 2 and 1. All right, so you can continue that again for another 2 minutes if you like. There's a lot of magic in the repetition. There's a lot of magic in doing this, so I really encourage you to do that. Our next one is lying on your back, arms behind your head. You know, lift your legs until your feet touch the ground behind you. It's plow pose. And then we come on up and over, grabbing your toes. So we alternate between plow and forward stretching without pausing for 2 minutes. So if you have any low back issues, this can be as simple as just rocking back and forth right here. You can rock back and forth even more, or let's see if I can do this. It's going to be a little vigorous. We're going to take the full one. So we're going to start coming up. You can use your hands for support as you come on up and back into plow. So another option is to have your feet on a chair if you want, if you need to, for a little support. If your toes can touch down towards the ground, you can do that. Reaching for your toes, come on up and forward. Come on up and back and forward, up, back. You're getting a full massage on your spine. Moving the energy fully through your body. We'll take another 2 and 1. Come on up. And again, I encourage you to do that for a full 2 minutes. So you can pause this if you want. Do that for a full 2 minutes. Take a breath. It's a good practice. It's a good way to start your morning, or whenever you can do it. It feels pretty good. All right, and our next one is lying on your back. You're going to clasp your knees, stretch your legs out before sitting up to grab your toes. So you're going to lie back. I've got my little book here for checking in here. So you're going to lie on your back, draw your knees in, stretch them out, and grab your toes. 2 minutes, steady rhythm, back. So as you do this, you can imagine it's also really good for digestion. It's good for elimination. It's good for your spine. Keep it going. If you need to modify, you can come right here and stretch your legs out. So find your way to modify. Maybe you rock up. Just take it slow. So it's up to you. What's working best for your body. Take another 2 and 1. You take a moment to take a breath, and we're moving on. This is our last one before we relax, and then we've got our chakra balancing meditation. So with both legs extended, this is the big one. It's going to be kind of fun. So I invite you to bring an energy of playfulness to this, an energy of just exploration. So you're going to take both legs extended, bending forward to grab your toes. And as you roll back, hold on to your toes until you are in plow pose. Rolling backwards and forwards without letting go of your toes, and continue it for 2 minutes. So if you have a strap, if you are kind of beginning with this, you can place that strap around your feet and then roll back that way. So that's another option. I'm going to kind of warm up into this just because I want to protect myself too. So the idea is to be here, to come on up and then over and then forward again. So this is kind of the big one. I'm going to start with the feet here. I'm going to come on up and over, up and back. I don't think I'm fully there today, so I'm going to take it with a modification, or just let go. I think I'm just going to let go for this one. So you can see you can modify too. Grabbing and then reaching. If you can take it holding the toes the whole time, that's great. I'm getting a good, nice solid core doing these. I'll take another 2 and 1. Come on back. If that's not moving the energy through your spine, I'm not sure what is. So, I'd love to get your feedback on that one when you do it. All right, and we are now going to lay back to relax completely. I'm going to show you what we're going to do as we lay back. You are going to balance your root chakra. This is an incredible process, and it's literally lifting out any toxic energy, anything you don't need, and bringing in balance. So what you're going to do is imagine, because you're doing it, you can have a partner do this too, but imagine the facing up, like I have this watch on. The facing up part of your hand, the back of your hand, is a clock. So I'm not sure how this is going to look to you, but you're going to do it. If you're looking at your hand, it's going to look clockwise. But you're actually going, it's like you're looking from the top down to go counterclockwise. So I can't tell. I think it looks like it's going clockwise to you, but I assure you, you want to be doing it. I guess if I face this way, yeah, it's counterclockwise. It's counterclockwise. Yeah, okay. So don't worry, you're going to do both ways, so it doesn't really matter. So you're going to lay down. You're going to take your hand just right above the base of your spine and visualize a circle of energy. So your chakra, I'm going to sit up for a minute. Your chakra visualize it